It's really hard to overestimate the significance of Reconstruction for American history, because it's in Reconstruction that the results of the Civil War become manifest. It's in Reconstruction that we see what it really means for African Americans to be freed. What does it mean for the nation to have to come back together after being split apart in the war? What we also can see in Reconstruction is a period of tremendous potential. That in this moment, in these 12 to 15 years between 1863 and 1877, you do have the emergence of a biracial democracy. You do have the emergence of African Americans being treated as political actors in their own right, having control to some extent over their own political destinies. And while we often look at Reconstruction as a failure because of the fact that when it ends, as the Southern states, quote unquote, redeem themselves and turn back to conservative white democratic rule, what I think we can still take away from it is as this moment of potential, as this moment of hope, as a legacy that can be built on generations and generations later.
Especially today, when we try to assess the significance of Reconstruction, we always emphasize the transition from slavery to freedom. For us, it's the most profound and important development, and the betrayal of that transition, the disappointment over how emancipation didn't produce equality, that's what we focus on. It matters to us, it's relevant today, and all of that's important. But when I think about the significance of Reconstruction in American history, I try to remind my students that it's also about the reconciliation of the nation. The trade-off between race and reunion was a terrible one in some places, but the actual reconstruction of the Southern states into the Union was important, and the ability of the nation to come together after the Civil War, which we once used to celebrate in its entirety, regardless of race, is still something we need to appreciate and study because it represents a triumph for the nation. It wasn't a triumph without its dark side. It wasn't a triumph without its disappointments, but it was nonetheless an important accomplishment of the post-war generation.
Reconstruction is one of the most central but least understood moments in American history. As other people have called it, in certain ways it's the second American Revolution, a second founding, a moment when our Constitution is remade, our political system is remade, an economic system based on slavery is destroyed, a whole new legal and political world emerges. So it's a really exciting moment and a moment of possibility, but because it ends in a kind of disappointment, in the sense of so many things that don't get completed by Reconstruction or do not get sustained, civil rights, voting rights for African Americans that have to be revived after World War II, because it ends in disappointment, it's always been something troubling in American political memory, that it's not clean, it's not neat, it's not clear, it's not a victory story. And for that reason, it's always something that Americans have struggled to grapple with, because in some ways it exposes us both to the incredible possibilities of our nation's history and also to its deep disappointments and of how far, how many things were left undone and how far perhaps we still need to go.